Hey Prayer in Action, my name is Myka and I'm from Oakley, and that's where I'm at here at my house. And in this video, I am going to talk to you guys about confession. And so the first thing that I want you guys to know is that we are not identified by the things that we do. Especially in high school, this can be pretty hard because we kind of like to see ourselves as either like a player on a sports team that we're on, or a member of this or that organization, or a worker at this or that job. But those are just things that we do. They're not who we are. And that is such a good thing, because that means that our sins are also not who we are. They're not our identity. They're not, guys, they're not. And especially these sins that we struggle with again and again, they're not who we are. Who we are is God's beloved sons and daughters. Even though we may carry these burdens and we may hold on to them, they're just these things in our hands. They're not a part of who we are. They're not our identity. Which, that is so good, because God's identity is as a loving and merciful Father. Like, the whole point, the whole reason that Jesus came to this earth, the whole reason that he suffered on the cross was to save us from our sins, to pay the price for our sins. He showed us so much mercy that these sins that we struggle with, we don't have to pay the price. You guys, we can let it go. We can let God help us. We can be released of this burden. Sometimes it's really hard to admit that we need help, but the whole reason that parents exist is to help their children. And I know some of you may not have experienced this with your parents, but you will experience this with God the Father, especially in the sacrament of confession, that he wants to help you. He doesn't want you to have to hold on to these sins that you're struggling with. He wants you to give them to him. If you're holding on to them, he wants you to just lay them down in the sacrament of confession, let him give you a hug, let him say he loves you, and let him say he's going to help you. And you walk away from that sin. That's such goodness. That's so much freedom that we can find in that, because we're holding on to these sins, we don't have any freedom. And I want to ask you guys, is this sin that you're holding on to, is this sin actually making you happy? Because if the answer is no, the key to that happiness that you're looking for is by letting this sin go. That is what you are desiring. That is what you can receive in the sacrament of confession. You no longer have to be burdened. A lot of times sins are a burden to you, especially the ones that you struggle with over and over. But God doesn't want you to be burdened. He wants to give you his love. And he says, I want to take that from you. Don't worry about it anymore. Just let me do this and you be free. You be happy and you be joyful. You experience the freedom that I want you to, that I have planned for you. Don't struggle with this thing that you're carrying. Lay it down. Be happy. That's what he wants for us. He doesn't think it's such a burden. Don't do that to yourself. Give it to him. Get better. Because in the sacrament of confession, he doesn't just take it away from you. He also gives you the grace to conquer that sin the next time it comes up. The next time you're tempted, he gives you the grace to have strength to say, that is not what I want. That is not what's making me happy. I do not want to pick that up again. He gives you that grace to see that. Let him do that. Let him pour his love out on you. Let him be so merciful, so kind. There's no reason to be afraid of the sacrament of confession, because there is never condemnation waiting for you there. Only love. And you guys, if I was with you, I would look you in the eyes and say, you are God's son, or you are God's daughter, and you are loved by a perfect Father in heaven, and he wants to help you. He wants to give you his grace. He doesn't want you to carry these burdens that keep you from being free any longer. That is what I want to say to you guys today. And so just know that I am praying for you, and that I hope that this video has helped you out, and I hope that you experience freedom. I love you guys so much. I'm praying for you. God bless.